Hey, what's going on, guys? Inferno here. I got another deck profile, and this one I am very happy with. I haven't posted a deck profile in a long time. This deck is a very, very powerful deck. I'm running Pyrus, dragonoid, AV, or Armored Elite, Armored Alliance. The set abbreviation is AV, don't really know why. But I'm running Pyrus, dragonoid, Aquos, and Haos Ultra. The Aquos and Haos Ultra can hit 1500B and 1450B respectively. Very, very powerful for early game. If I don't have the right cards I need. I'll get into that in a bit. The Pyrus dragonoid, though, is, I think, going to be a staple for Might Mac decks. He's double Green Fist. His B power is 400. His damage is 4. But if he lands on a Green Fist, he gets plus 6 damage. And there's a new core from Armor Alliance that gives plus 2 damage and minus 2 gear cost, which is very powerful for reasons I will get into later again. Aquos can do 6 damage. Haos Strike's just there for the team attack, really. And the funny thing is, I could switch Haos with a lot of other things, but the Confuse flip is really good. 1 cost, stops Magic Shield and Flame Fist, really good. And that's kind of all I'm running for. I got some other cards that are Haos in here that are pretty nice. So let me get right into the deck. Before I get into the deck, the cores that I'm running are a plus 2 damage, minus 2 gear cost, which would be every single one of these if I had them for all the Green Fist. But I do not, so I'm just running the minus 2 gear cost Green Fist that I have. One's a plus 50 plus 1 damage minus 2. One's a plus 1 damage minus 2 gear cost. Or I'm running 2 of the plus 1 damage minus 2 gear cost. Helix is plus 600B, minus 3 damage, and the Magic Shield is plus 650B. Pretty standard. And now we will get into the deck. In the deck, I'm running 3 Magma Blaster. It's a 3 cost bakugan that gives plus 200B and plus double strike. It's mainly in here for the double strike because it's a 1 cost that gives a permanent double strike if you land on a minus 2 gear cost Green Fist or Red Fist, but I don't run Red Fist. Next card is Super Fuel. 3 copies of 1 cost. You must reroll your Bakugan. If you open on the reroll, the next card you play this turn costs 3 energy or 3 energy less to play. It is really good for a lot of things. Obviously, you can play Magma Blaster for free if it's first turn. You have Magma Blaster, Super Fuel, and full flip cards for Hydras and deal 12 damage. But that's for something else. I will show you what it's for at the end, and I'll show you how I play this deck. 3 Might of Syndius, 2 cost, plus 1 damage. This turn, the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B. Really good for Dragonoid. And Hydras. You'd be surprised how many times 6 damage, or 7 damage with Might of Syndius can get over a lot of different Bakugan. 3 Sword Barrage. I was running 2, but I decided to put 3 in to make it a little bit more consistent. It is a 2 cost, you get plus 4 damage, but if that Bakugan is holding a Green Fist, it gets plus 8 damage instead. It is really good with Dragonoid, especially if you have Super Fuel. On turn 3, you can Might and Sword Barrage for 3 energy. And if you put double the Magma Blaster Bakugan on him, you can be dealing a lot of damage. 3 Song of Fire, 3 cost, you get plus 5 energy. It's basically 2 free energy, or 5 energy if you play it with Super Fuel. which is really good, especially first turn. 3 Mac, pretty standard for a Mac deck, obviously. 3 copies of. 4 cost, this turn, when the turn you play this, the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B power. Your bakugan have +2 damage. When you get 2 or 3 of him, or 1 or 2 of him out, he's dealing a lot of damage on a team attack. And it's a hero, so he stays in play until he is destroyed. The only 3 Haos cards that I'm running are Holy Flame, 1 cost, +300B if that bakugan is holding a green fist, +600B instead. I'll play this if I get it early game. Let's say me and my opponent are both using Aquos Hydrus. I can 1 turn beat them and deal 6 damage, which is pretty good. It's +300 B. If I have a green fist for like dragonoid, I can be at 1000 B, which is nothing to scuff at or shove off, whatever the saying is. I don't really know. 3 deep dive, 1 cost, draw a card, and you may re-roll your bakugan. It's in here for both reasons, for being able to draw a card and for re-rolling a bakugan. I need the right cards in my hand in this deck, like Magma Blaster, Might, and Mag, Super Song, pretty much any of the Pyrus cards. I need those in my hand to kind of win, or else I'm losing. I tried 2 of, but 3 of seemed to work better. Being able to draw a card for, especially first turn, let's say they're dealing damage to me, I can draw a card and maybe get a Magma Blaster or a Might of Sandius for later, which is really nice. 3 Blinding Ink, 2 costs, then get an action card that costs 3 or less. It's really good. There's Sinkhole, which is a 4 cost, which negates a action or hero card played this turn, which is also really good. But it's a 4 cost. It's kind of expensive. 2 costs, though, to stop a Super Fuel or Song of Fire going through from your opponent is really good. And that usually puts a pretty good dent in what they need to do to win. 3 Shuns. Again, I was running 2 of, but 3 seemed a little bit more consistent. 3 cost hero. When you open a bakugan, you may draw a card. Really good, especially with things like Super Fuel and Deep Dive. If I have 2 of those out, which is not very hard to do in this deck. Let's say I could Super Fuel him out first turn, which I will almost 100% always do. He's really good. Because, again, that allows me to get cards in my hand, which allows me to win. 3 Wave Slash. It's really in here for B power boost if I need it. And because I'm only running 2 B power boosters. Wave Slash and Holy Flame. They're in there for backup, which is nice. Don't really need it. I have used it, and I've used it quite well. I usually try to get the +1000 beam for the flow. It's a 3 cost, +300B flow if you played another card this turn, +1000B instead. Really good. Now here's the card that might surprise a few people. Liquid Strike. 2 costs for +3 Frost Strike. Frost Strike allows you, or it makes the opponent's flip cards cost 3 more energy, which is really powerful. It's in there if I'm winning and I need the damage to go through. Let's say I'm at 5 cards and they're at like 28 still. I can make that damage go through to, again, hinder them. That's it for the action cards. Now onto the flip cards. 2 Constrictors. 1 cost, stop Green Fist and Helix scores. These are really good, especially for Aquos Hydrus. I play against Aquos Hydrus a lot. I would run 3, but I don't really have the room. And 2, I'm really only concerned about Aquos Hydrus. Arliss Dragonoid Ultra is a thing. He's a 2 cost. His Evo is a 2 cost. It's 800B and 1 damage, but if he lands on a Helix, he gets plus 11 damage. So he's dealing anywhere between 9 and 11 damage, depending on what cores the opponent is running. But it's in there for Hydrus, mainly. And for the final 3 cards, I'm running 3 Confuse. 1 cost, stop a Bakugan holding Flame Fist or Magic Shield, which is what you're going to be losing to 90% of the time, because there's things like Arliss Dragonoid Ultra, and pretty much anything with a Magic Shield you can lose to, because it's a plus 650B. And that card comes in handy so many times, because it's, instead of playing an Outsiders card, which is a 3-cost stop non-Aquos or stop non-Pyrus, stuff like that, this stops anything holding those cores. So I can stop 4 cores out of the 6 that are available. Mono shields have kind of fizzled out, and... Or no, it's 5 cores. I'm sorry. There's only 5 cores. Magic Shield, Flame Fist, Green Fist, Helix, and regular shield. And mono shields have kind of fizzled out. They're not really a thing anymore. Or else I would be using... I think it's Deep Freeze for Aquos. It's a 1-cost, stops regular shield and Helix. But it's not really a thing anymore. So I'm running 3 of those. 3 Confuse. And now on to the powerful combo. The best starting team possible is Super Fuel. I'll move them up. Super Fuel, Song of Fire, Magma Blaster, Midas Sandius, and Sword Barrage. And you might ask why. Well, let me show you why. If I have this hand, I will roll Dragonoid. I will play Super Fuel to reroll onto a +2 damage, -2 in gear cost. And since I can play a card for 3 energy less, I will play Song of Fire. So I have 5 energy. And since gears cost 2 energy less, Magma Blaster, that is a 2 cost, now costs 1. That's 4 energy that I have left. I will then play Midas Sandius for 2 cost. I am now at 13 damage. So he gets +2 damage. He's a 4 damage base. He gets +6 damage for landing on a Green Fist. You might see where this is going. And he gets +1 damage from Midas Sandius. And now the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B power. So I'm at 13 damage, which is a lot of damage to get over. It's not impossible. Haos Titanilius can do it pretty easily. But for the last 2 energy that I have from the Song of Fire, I will play Sword Barrage, which is a 2 cost +4 energy. If that Bakugan is holding a Green Fist, +8 damage instead. So I'm at 21 damage, and don't forget, I have the Double Strike attached to him. So with Double Strike, on the very first turn, I can be dealing 21 damage with Double Strike, which is 42 damage. 42 damage. It is very powerful. I've been wanting to do a first turn beat your opponent kind of cheese deck for a long time, and I finally found it with this. And yeah, this is a very powerful deck with the Magma Blaster. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.